Hey, you look like a weary soul. Would you mind sitting here with me a little bit while I chat and rest on our journey? You know, something that's been on my mind lately as I try to make something with YouTube and working on videos in general. For the longest time, I was trying to pursue life as if I had to find this one specific path that I was supposed to follow, as if getting this sort of end goal was all that really mattered. I needed to get a good job, and I needed to have a family to take care of, and I needed to work hard on everything I did. No matter what I did, I had to be doing it to the fullest extent of what I could muster out of myself. And I want to work on things I'm doing in my life to better myself as a person, but this notion that I have to be working on myself to death at every corner is just not feasible. The so-called American dream that we all grow up perceiving of having this perfect home life, and it had me chasing things that I just didn't need in my life, such as having women around me, as if I needed someone else in my life in order to fulfill who I am. Had me chasing career paths that I was interested in, but I wasn't fully invested with my entire soul. I dated these women for the sole purpose of having a woman in my life because that's what I was told to do. That was the goal, right? And I went to school for computer science because I love computers. I thought I needed a great job to feel fulfilled with my life. So I went into computers, and the problem came when those things started to fall apart. I lost my girlfriend to me just not fully being involved in the relationship. I didn't understand that I was the problem. I was immature, and I kept her around in my life because I knew she wouldn't leave for such a long period of time. And that's how it was for 6 years of my life, until she finally did leave. And that part of me that was almost happy that she was gone, because I wasn't fully invested any longer. Seeing my family that I had grown up with stick it out in relationships that just don't fulfill who they are as people, and they just stayed because maybe that's just all they knew how to do. And this was my way of learning the world, seeing these people that I love continue to be together when in reality it shouldn't have come this far for them. I dropped out of college, and it never even occurred to me that I should go back because my heart just wasn't in it. I told myself for many years that I love computers and this is what it was that I wanted to do, but where did I go when it came crashing down? When everything that I had in my life just kept falling apart because there was no foundation. I sunk into my shell and I continued playing video games. I would lose myself in whatever game it was that I was playing at the time. And a big one for most of that time is League of Legends. Because when you you grow up with trauma and people telling you how to live your life through these external pressures where it is that I'm supposed to understand the world. What is it that I want as a person? What is it that I want out of life? Again and again, I fell into whatever game or niche thing that it was that I was interested in. And at the time, until I realized I can't just avoid these issues any longer. I have to think about what it is that I, as a person, want out of life. And it's not these material things that everyone talks about. It's not having a home. It's not having a nice car. It's not having a girlfriend or a wife or boyfriend, if that's your cup of tea. And those things in life, they come and go if you don't have the foundation to hold them with the love you have given yourself. My energy hasn't been in a position to bring in positive moments into my life because I was living with a lack mindset of I don't have this or I don't have that. And this past year, with the betrayal of a friend that I held dear to my heart, and I really loved this friend, really drove me down a path that I needed to understand and process who I am as a person and where it is I am fulfilled in life. They aren't easy questions to answer unless you really sit down and be honest with yourself. And I had to stop lying to myself. I had to stop searching for this love that I so desperately wanted from another person because I lacked it in my home life as a kid. I was never going to find it because I didn't have that same love for myself. I didn't have that foundation that I needed. I would go through these moments and go wading through life, waiting around and doing the things that other people wanted me to do so that they would love and respect me or think of me highly. And what it is that I found, that made people disrespect me more because I never put myself first. I was always looking out for other people. I was looking out for their time. I was looking out for what it is they had going on in their life. And I'm not saying I should never do those things. I still love the people I do have in my life. I just respect my time and my efforts more now than ever, because if you can't love and respect yourself, how are you ever going to love and respect other people around you? And I'm not saying I have this all figured out. I definitely don't. I truthfully don't think any person has life figured out, and I don't know that anyone ever will. But what I do know is that I don't want to live my life being around people and in situations that bring a detriment to who I am as a person and who I'm trying to become. And I don't believe that it's in one specific direction. Life is multifaceted, and I myself have so many different paths I contemplate taking, but at the end of the day, I just have to go wherever it is I believe my next path is, and my best works come from inside when I don't take on the pressure of what the people around me are saying, what I'm saying to myself, and what I think is good for my direction. And I think that is so much harder to do with the way that social media especially has crept its way into our lives. So many people saying so many different things and putting so many different ideas into our heads. It's so hard for an individual to think for themselves. It's hard to say which thought is actually mine or just a tweaked version of what someone else said. And yeah, so that's about it. I just wanted to chat with you a little bit thank you for listening. And I hope you find your way out there. I hope you learned something from me just talking. Or maybe even think about something else for yourself that I could maybe help you understand. Thanks for watching.